I'm going to use a weighted ball, but you can also use bender ball or a yoga block to put in between the knees to activate the adductors and pelvic floor. We want to, and just a little bit more of the vastus medialis oblique. A lot of times, the lateralis kicks in and works overtime. So does the TFL. So we're going to make sure that we're using a little bit more of the medial portion of the legs when we're doing our hip thrusters. So just going over hip thrusters again, we want to make sure that we're maintaining that neutral with the floor, shoulder blades contact, back of the ribs contact, and we're going to thrust the hips up. So we don't want to just come up in that neutral position and stay there, because that will throw your hips into a anterior tilt and you will completely feel that lower back engage. It's not wrong, it's just not what we're looking for here. We're going to come back down again. When we recruit, it's going to be tailbone comes up first, keeping the back of the shoulder blades, the back of the ribs on the floor, and then we recruit back down one vertebrae at a time. So it goes tailbone to lower back to mid back, squeezing through the glutes, right? And then resisting that resistance back down. We don't want to feel our quads. So a lot of times we'll feel our quads because we're holding that resistance here, but we want to hold the resistance here. So we want to push the energy of your quads away. So it might mean you need to adjust where your legs are. Each person's going to be different. The heavier this ball, the more you're going to feel a little bit more quads, the more you're going to have to squeeze those glutes. So start with less, increase after you've gotten that point of pressing the energy of the legs out and recruiting the glutes properly. But the point of this one is having that block in between to keep the hips neutral. We're going to go into a single leg. So you can have just your heel lifted on the leg that's not working. So right now, I'm working the leg that's furthest away from you. My left, breathing it out. You're flexing through the glute, coming up, pressing the energy of the knee that way, keeping the weight through the heel and switching sides. So 10 to 12 per side, taking a break in between if you need. And to 12, really focusing on that glute on the leg that you're working. Start with a couple sets or one set of both legs together, and then progress into doing the single leg. After you've done that exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick piriformis stretch. This is great for the lower back. We're going to lay into a cobra position, but we're going to bring this leg up. Again, you can put a pillow underneath your knee, and we're just going to come into a baby cobra. We're holding there. So this is the Mackenzie stretch. It is great for sciatic relief because it takes the pressure off the piriformis muscle and presses. What sometimes happens is the discs in that lower lumbar spine press onto the nerves, sciatic nerves, and we want to come and just open up, stretch out the hips, the front of the hips, and get that relief, pulling the discs back into the vertebral column, away from the nerves, sciatic especially. Back down, take a little break, and then switching sides. I'm just trying to relax into it. You're not tensing anything up. Inhaling all the way into the pelvic floor. Exhaling through the mouth and relaxing. So doing about 3 to 4 breaths per side. Come up and finish with a child's pose, relaxing everything down for anywhere from 4 to 8 breaths here. When you come out of that pose, your best way to do that versus recruiting your lower back is to bring the hands in and press through the upper body instead of recruiting that lower back when it's that stretched out, okay? It can lead to a kind of a pullback from that muscle. We want to, once they're stretched out, we want to give them time to actually recover from that stretch before we're contracting them again.